Hey y'all, Carolina Tony. Today the road brings us to Pella, Iowa. Pella is a town that was founded by Dutch immigrants around 1847. Big thing here in Pella is they plant a lot of tulips, but this is not tulip season. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful town, and there's something really cool here I'm going to show you. But we'll get started right after this station identification. Pella is a town much like towns across the USA, little small towns anyway. Town green, surrounded by the businesses, and if you'll look, it seems to be a very thriving downtown. Hard to find a parking place, and I do not see any empty stores or businesses here. But look, here's something pretty cool. Let's go check it out. Okay. No speak of the Dutch. That's not how to do it. That's not how you say it. Do you like my wooden shoes?
I'm assuming it's there. It's 2.5 miles. Oh, no.
This is the mill here. It's right there. It's one block. Well, Pella is about 10,000 people, and looking at the buildings, can you kind of get the Dutch influence? For instance, from the roof of that building, perhaps, and maybe the architecture on the front of that building. And look at this. This is a clock tower, and I imagine that when the clock goes off, little people come out and dance. Here's a little alley with some murals on the wall. Yeah, it's tile. With all those flowers. Now, in the spring of the year, all this would be tulips. A movie theater, how about that? Oh, look at this. Isn't this cool? Little side street. This clock tower in the hotel, the Royal Amsterdam Hotel.
A lot of people in the Netherlands, they look at a map like this their whole life, and then they look at a map of the United States and they assume they're about the same size. Well, no. Here's what the Netherlands is compared to the state of Iowa, 1/4 the size. But there are 17 million people living in the Netherlands compared to 3 million people.
Well, here in Pella, Iowa, that was founded by the Dutch. First of all, to get an idea of what the town looks like, we come to a miniature Dutch village. All these buildings are exact copies of buildings that is in the Netherlands. So when we go outside and we look at the town, we can get an idea of the architecture of just how close it is to looking just like you were, just as if you are in the Netherlands.
They changed the name on it. They thought it was too derogatory. But he was from the Netherlands. He wanted something to show what he grew up with. So he started doing some of this. And when some guys over in the Netherlands found out he was doing this, they also came over here and showed him how they did some of this stuff over in the Netherlands. These are all authentic reproductions of buildings that have or do exist in the Netherlands. So they don't just build willy-nilly. They take pictures of it and all that and build exact replicas of what they had there. The buildings in the Netherlands, just like our downtown stores, they're tall and narrow. The reason for that is land level down below.
Right.
That looks like wood. Oh, that's for
So right there is where the little Dutch boy stuck his thumb in the wall to keep the water from flooding.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's what I was talking about. That's the actual building, and here is the recreation.
Yeah, they had brick making and such in there.
You see how close it is?
I had a question here about brick.
It's
Most of the buildings
almost
are
like
brick.
you've sunk
Yes,
it
they
down.
were. There's one down there that's a wooden structure. It's got wooden shingles because of fires.
And here is another.
Shingle roofs. Again,
That's the
because of
actual
fires, the government said
windmill.
no more wooden structures.
And here is that windmill in
That's why you see
miniature.
all tile roofs.
Is the wind blowing that?
Yes, sir. All wind power.
And when you do stop it, if you look right over there, see that red, white, and blue pole? That's the brake. 28 tons of weight up there, but the miller, using this, can turn that whole 28 tons all by himself. What you do is, if you look, see you got these grooves in the board, and there's a wider groove right here. That's what these hooks go in. So if he wants to move this blade, he'll take and unhook both sides, and he'll stretch this chain out there to the next one, and wind that chain up on there. When he winds that up, that'll move that whole cap section up there, depending on how far he needs to go. That's why these are getting a little, you see some worn spots on there. They've been moved many, many times to fit into that wider groove. Here, that wasn't the intent. The intent was to get it
You can see all the
above
flowers,
the height of
see?
the buildings. That's why this had to be built so tall. Great. Years and years ago, when they made these stones, they made them out of granite. But we found out reinforced concrete works just great for making stones with, and you can be a little more precise with it without all the work of making it into granite. You can just barely see these spaces here. That are these grooves that are cut into that stone. He would take this center piece and tip it over. While it was sitting still like this, he'd tip that over to where it engages with those cogs. And that would turn this center, which would then turn the stones here.
So right now it's out of gear.
So let's head back.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a long ways down. That elevator brought us up here. It seemed like a short distance. Now, if you'll look, the rope right here goes up to that shaft. You see how the rope's kind of wound around the shaft?
Three people that were here.
Yeah, and there's volunteers and all kinds.
Okay, this is the sifting room. This is one story down from where it's ground at. As we go down, each room gets a little larger.
Yeah, you're right. Good observation.
Here's the framework of the mill.
Okay, we are in a mill, but we call this the mill room because of all the pictures you got in here that show lots of different types of mills. Not all mills are built the way, this is called a smock mill.
So the
here.
cap
Not
actually
all
turns.
mills are made like smock mills. We saw one up there in the village,
And
miniature village
this
like
arm
this called
here,
the Jasper Mill.
This is where it
Jasper Mill
actually
is
turns
in
it.
a low area, and it pumps a dozen different blades depending on the width of the boards in over
These
there.
black
And that
things,
would,
that's the
sawmill
roller.
again, two different gears
The
and set
whole
up,
top
pull
of the
through
mill
blade,
sits
and
on
cut
those
it in that
rollers.
board and section down, all that work
So
was
it
done
can
by
turn
the-
around and be put into the wind, and it's
There's some
manual.
different styles
It's
here, showing
manually
how
put into the
sometimes
wind
they could set them up with
with
two
this
sets
device.
of stones in here. Or
This is the windmill operator's floor. It's where the miller would live.
this is the windmill operators' quarters here. When people in the Netherlands come over here and they see this, one of the first reactions of theirs is, this is not right at all. The windmill's operator quarters would only be about half this size. We've got the room, so we made it a little bit bigger to show people some of the different things that they might have in their. And the reason we can do that is because we got 5 stories and a normal mill only has a couple of stories, so we have room to spread out a little bit. Shows you some of the things, the older thing. Here's an interesting thing. You see like they put a rug on their table. Well, this is the only room in the mill that would be heated in wintertime. So you got your wood stove here to heat the room as well as do your cooking. Our history and stuff, because shoes were considered a throwaway item, whereas the costumes, they were put into trunks and stuff like that. We still see them today. So I've got a wooden shoe collection and have to pay very close attention to paintings and stuff like that that they used to do.
We're just going to spend just a short few minutes walking around the Dutch village here in Pella. Windmill was really interesting. A lot of these buildings have been reconstructed to look just like they would be built in the Netherlands. And I think the tour goes this way. There's a log home. One of Pella's early homes with a buffalo coat hanging on the wall. Here is the inside of a sod house. This has been reconstructed. But this is what the inside of a sod house would look like. In another one of my videos, there is an actual sod house. I wonder if in Dutch that means the same thing as blacksmith. Perhaps it does. Perhaps it does. Beautiful garden. I don't know if you can tell it, but I'm sweating like a monkey. It's 100 degrees out here, and we're gonna make this short. Well, I hope you have enjoyed our visit to Pella, Iowa in the 100-degree heat. It is brutal. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this visit. If you did, be sure to give us a big old thumbs up. Be sure to share it with your family and friends. But until next time, what you say, Debbie?
Y'all have a good day.
That's right.